Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to What Up Clay. This channel we're talking about all kinds of topics such as how to make it, how to fix it, how to clean it, how to maintain it. Also we do product reviews as well as comparisons. Today is a project that I've been working on. I'm going to talk about cleaning the carburetor out of my Honda CR500 two-stroke dirt bike. So first I'll talk to you about cleaning it, and then I'll go over some basics about how the carburetor works, and then go over some possible troubleshooting stuff. So see if we try to cram this all in this one video. Anyhow, so let's begin. First off, when I clean my carburetors, the outside of it, I will pressure wash it. I know some of you right now screaming, "Well, you can't pressure wash, you ruin it." You know what? A lot of people do it. Been doing it for years, no problems whatsoever. Haven't ever had any issues. So basically nothing to worry about either. I mean, everything on this thing is either aluminum or brass. So, and of course you don't put it back on your bike until it's thoroughly dried out, and by the time you get fully done cleaning it, it's going to be dried out. But anyhow, so I'll pressure wash it. I'll pressure wash the outside of it. I make sure that the bowl is on. Do not pressure wash it with the bowl off. That part's a no-no. So pressure wash it with the bowl on. Pressure wash it all the way around. Try not to shoot it inside the actually inside the carburetor, just the exterior of it. So, and I'll also have the all the pins and the needles in it as well. So anyways, once that gets all nice and clean and shiny and purty, I'll crack the bowl off it. Now, once I get inside here, I'll spray it out with carb cleaner and clean it out that way. Take off the gasket, because I'll replace the gasket. I'll buy a rebuild kit. You know, it comes with new jets, new gaskets, so on. I just have to make sure that I get the jet kits with the right size jets. Sometimes I don't get new jets. Sometimes I just clean the jets. Like this one here, I just clean the jets on this build because my car was pretty clean. It's just motorcycle scene starting up again, so I decided to take it apart and clean it so I don't have to worry about any problems. Ran fine, just making sure. So, cleaning it. I'll pull all the needles out, the air fuel mixture needle. I'll pull out the choke, and as well as the idle adjustment needle. Pull everything out, and I'll do a thorough clean. All the channels and everything like that, I'll blow them out using carb cleaners as well as compressed air. I make sure that air is flowing through every single channel. Make sure that nothing's plugged up. Everything's working great. So with the needles though, every single needle or jet, every single jet, you should be able to see straight through it. None of them should be plugged up. This one right here is the pilot jet / the idle jet. It's literally a little teeny pinhole. They're small. They're really small. This is a 500, so this one's actually going to be bigger than a normal typical two-stroke carburetor, or even four-stroke for that matter. But these right here, unless you're experienced in cleaning them, I would not recommend cleaning them because they can be difficult to clean. There really isn't a jet cleaner small enough to really get in here. And if you don't do it right, and you do have a needle small enough, it bends it all up. You usually have to use like a copper wire strand or something like that to clean these things out. The main jet is a little bit bigger hole. Well, not a little bit, it's quite a bit bigger. You can see straight through on these as well. Again, all jets you can see straight through. This one right here, there's no problem cleaning these out. You just take the jet cleaner, run it through. But the only thing is for the price of a jet cleaner and new jets, they're about the same price. So it's almost worth just getting new jets. I have a jet cleaner because sometimes I'll be out there off-road out in the field or something like that, and you never know, something might happen, and I'll just need it for cleaning out a jet real quick. So that's the jets here. If you want to know the sizes on them, they should say right on the side. This one right here is mounted right here on the side. It says 170. This one right here is a 60 or 55. This one right here is a 55, also written on the side. So next, for cleaning, like I said, I'll clean everything. I'll check the flow path of the fuel. So the fuel will flow down through this tube here, and it'll come out through here. This right here will be, there will be a float needle that fits right down inside of there. I highly recommend when you clean your carburetor, you get a new float needle, because little specks of dirt or grime will get on these things, and they will just be a nightmare if it leaks, if it doesn't shut off like it should. And again, these aren't expensive. I think you get the quote-unquote Chinese version of the jet kits and complete rebuild kit for like 15 bucks. I think they are, and they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. You can get the name brand ones if you want. You'll be paying in the neighborhood about 45, 50 bucks for a complete kit. So that's the float needle. Float needle connects to the float, and as the float moves up and down, so if it's filled, the carburetor is full, the floats will be up, and then as it gets low on fuel, the floats will come down, and when it comes down, it'll pull the needle out some and allow fuel to flow until it fills up, and then it goes back up and closes off again. I'll make a video on how to adjust the float valves. It's not hard to do. It's quite simple to do, which is very tedious to do. I have a couple of tricks that makes it easy, so you don't have to keep putting it back in the bike to check to make sure it's at the right level, because normally at the right level on the fuel is going to be right where the bowl, this is called the bowl, the float bowl, connects with the carburetor. So it's going to be right about here. It's going to be the line, because what that does, that allows these right here are the two needle or the two jet tubes. It'll allow to keep those both under fuel. I mean inside the fuel. The pilot one / idle jet, it's not real, when you're moving around stuff like that, it's not real critical that it stays in fuel as much, you know, because you'll be moving, going up and down hills, and the fuel will be going like this because you're going up and down hill, right? Because it stays level. But the pilot jet / idle jet is normally used just to start the bike, and at that point you're not really bouncing around and so on and so forth, going off-roading, splashing around. But the main jet, however, you have to make sure that stays inside the fuel at all times. So that's why it comes down a lot further. Now, so you have the main jet on there, and you have the pilot jet on there. Now, this here is called a baffle. When you're off-roading, even on-road, the fuel is splashing around inside the bowl because the bike's splashing around, right? So you got all this turbulence going on inside here. So when you got all this turbulence inside, it's really hard for the fuel to flow consistently because it's just splashing around, right? So the baffle here helps to minimize the splashing and helps to smooth it out, smooth the flow of fuel inside the jets, so it's a lot more consistent. So depends on the carburetor. This is a Keihin. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong right now, but they have different float valves, different brands, different float baffles they have. So now, how the carburetor works. So air flows through here, through this side here, and comes out this other end. Now, as it travels through, it picks up fuel from either the pilot jet or the main jet or both. When it's at idle, it'll come out of the idle jet / pilot jet. this CR500 has an extra jet because it's for pilot, for the idling and stuff like that, because it's a 500. It's a gas guzzler, and when you start to crack the throttle, it requires a little bit more gas, but not. Well, that's a whole other story. So, and once you crack the throttle and you start to get more throttle, it's going to require more fuel. Well, not enough fuel can flow through the pilot, through this one valve, or one jet. So therefore, it starts to suck fuel from the main jet. And that's where the fuel really starts to flow from. And how that works is as fuel, or as air blows through the carburetor, so air will flow through here. It'll suck gas through. See if you can see this here. There's a hole right there, right behind this thing right here. There's a hole right there. So actually, if I come down here, so if this was a needle, this would be flying in and out of that hole. There's actually a float that, not a float, but a slide that goes through here on this side. It has a needle mounted to it that will cover up this whole hole, the slide will, and just allow the needle to come through. And then when you give it gas, the slide goes up, opens it up a little bit. I should have had it here so I could show how it works, but you'll be able to see it when you're looking at your carburetor. So it comes out of this hole right there. Now when it's idling, it comes out of this hole. This little teeny weeny hole right here in front of the one in the back. So that's how that works. Now if you want to, let's say you're using your choke and you want to use the choke. What the choke does is when you open it, it allows air to flow, just a little bit of air to flow through. You don't want to crack your throttle. You just want a little bit of air to flow through, and it will, when you go and kick it over, it'll be just enough air to suck gas. It'll suck more gas from here, a little bit of air from here, and therefore your bike will fire up quick and easy. Your bike will actually run a little rich. Rich means it has more gas, has too much gas. Lean means it doesn't have enough gas. But when you're starting it, you want it to be rich, and that's how it starts. And then once it starts and it gets going a little bit, you close that off, and it'll be fine after that. So it'll run idle. Now, if it's not idling right, then that's when you adjust your idle adjustment. This one here has the idle adjustment, is also part of the float, or the choke as well. So you have your idle needle right here, idle adjustment here. Pull it out and you crack it up. Now the factory settings on these are usually 2 to 2.5 rotations out. So you'll turn it all the way in, and then you'll turn it out 2 to 2.5 rotations, full rotations. That's pretty much factory. And then you listen to your idle. If you won't need if it's not idling fast enough, you twist it clockwise. If it's idling too much, you click it, you twist it counterclockwise. You do little bits at a time, because a little bit of adjustment will make a big difference. That's how that part works. Now, for the air fuel mixture, you also have that feature on here. It's right here. So what this does here is this allows so when you open this up, it allows allows air to flow through that hole right there. So air will flow through this hole, and that other end of that hole goes right here. You can kind of see it right there, which goes to your main jet. What that does is when you open that up, it allows it lessens the suction of fuel from the main jet. and it sucks more air there, but mostly it's lessening the fuel flow through the main jet. Perfect example. Let's say you're drinking through a straw. Now you open up a valve that goes to that straw that allows air in. Well, as you start to open the valve a little bit, you're getting less and less of your drink and more air. But the main thing is you're getting less and less of your drink. So like you're drinking soda through it, or water. If you're drinking water through it, you're getting less water and more air. But then when you start to close off that valve, you're getting less air and more water, to a point where finally you're getting nothing but water. Same thing with this, same concept with this air adjustment screw. If you're getting too much fuel, you'll open this up, allow more air in, you'll have less fuel. And then vice versa. If you're going to higher elevations, you want to adjust it to where you're getting less fuel. And so on and so forth. You already live at high elevations, you're going down lower elevations, then you want to adjust it to get more fuel, because there's more air, thicker air. So that's how that whole thing works. Now for quick troubleshooting. Let's say you're adjusting idle and it's not idling, it just won't idle. It keeps dying on you, and you adjust it, nothing's happening. It keeps dying. Well, you probably have a blocked passage for the fuel. It could be your idle, your pilot jet might be plugged. You gotta make sure that's not plugged up. It could be that little hole right there that the fuel comes through. Right there, that right there could be plugged up. So you might go in there and try to clean that out. Again, you have to use a little teeny wire to clean that out. Another thing it could be is you could have a rip in your gasket here, the boot that goes around the motor, or the carburetor to the motor side, or it could be your reeds could be cracked or something like that. Your reeds valve might be damaged. So it can be any of those. Another thing, let's say idle's great, beautifully, great, couldn't idle better. But as soon as you crack that throttle, it bogs. It just like almost dies out, completely dies out. Now, that could be one of two problems. Either A, you're getting too much gas, or B, you're getting too much air. Here's how you test it. It's really easy to test this out. So you get the bike started, you get it running, you get it idling good. It's just sitting there idling. It's warmed up, idling good. Chokes off, everything like that. Take your hand, use your hand, don't use a piece of cardboard or paper towel or a rag or anything like that, because it will get sucked into this thing. It will get sucked in. Cardboard, you don't have enough control over it. You will like this, and all of a sudden just it'll cover the whole thing, and your bike will die. But you don't want anything to get sucked in. There's a lot of suction in this bad boy when it's running. So what you'll do is you'll cover it. You'll have your bike running, and you'll cover it about halfway. Then you rip on the throttle. If it no longer bogs and it revs fine, or if it, like, let's say it slightly bogs, it runs better, but it has a slight bog, then you just cover up a little bit more. And then when you do that, and then now it's running real great. It revs good, everything else. The problem is you're getting too much air, not enough fuel. So, how do you fix that? Well, you don't stick duct tape over it, that's for sure. What you do is you get a bigger main jet. So if it happened to me, and this right here is a 170, I'd probably jump up to a 172 and try that. Another thing that you can do is on needles, they have rings on the needles. You can move the rings down, the clips down, which brings the needle up. That means that the needle will sit. It won't sit as far inside the main jet line here. So the clip is one of the easier routes to go, cheapest route, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's why the clip's there. But again, you're probably better off just, more than likely you have to get a bigger jet if it's making that big of a difference. Now, another problem that could be is that you have a rip in your boot on this side. That could be a big thing too. So those are areas that you gotta look for. Now, if you're getting too much fuel, if you're doing all that and it's still not doing anything, chances are you're probably getting too much fuel. Way to check that out is to take your needle and move the clip up the needle, which will put the needle further down inside here. And if you do that, then you crack it, you rip on the throttle and see if it runs better, see if that helps. And if it does help, then you probably have to go either it should be fine because you have the needle all the way up, or you have to go smaller on your main jet. So that's an easy fix too. But anyhow, that's pretty much all I can think of right now. Nothing else comes to mind. These right here on the side, you're probably wondering what these are. These are just vents. That's all they are, just vents to keep this from turning into a vacuum in here, you know, too much suction or what have you inside. But so that's all I have for now. I hope this was helpful for you. If you found it helpful and you want to see more of my videos, by all means, subscribe to my channel. If you don't like the videos, you subscribe anyway just to make fun of me. So anyhow, guys, I hope everything's going good for you. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me a question in the comments section. I'll be more than happy to answer it. If I have to do another video to answer that question, I'd be more than happy to do so then also. So we'll talk to you guys later, and take care. Bye-bye.